It was supposed to be a quiet Saturday morning, the kind where the sun streams through the windows, the smell of breakfast fills the house, and the only sounds are kids laughing in the living room. But peace doesn't last long when you live under the watch of a meddling HOA. And worse, when that HOA is run by a woman everyone calls Karen. She had already made it her mission to control everything in our neighborhood. She complained about the color of my mailbox, about where my wife parked her car, even about my daughter's chalk drawings on the sidewalk. But what happened next went way beyond complaints. It was something I never imagined I'd see. She actually broke into my home. That morning, my daughter was in the den playing with her toys when she heard a scratching noise by the window. She thought it was the neighbor's cat at first until she looked closer. What she saw made her freeze. Karen, the president of the HOA, was crouched outside, fiddling with the window lock. She was literally trying to pry it open. My daughter screamed, and in that instant the house alarm went off, blaring so loudly the whole street could hear. I rushed into the room to see Karen half inside my window, her body wedged awkwardly as the alarm lights flashed red. For a second, I thought it was some crazy nightmare. But no, it was very real. Karen scrambled, yelling something about inspections and violations, as if that excused her breaking into a private home. The nerve of this woman. My daughter was crying, terrified, and I was shaking with fury. The alarm kept wailing, and within minutes neighbors were peeking out their doors. Some pulled out their phones to record, unable to believe what they were seeing. Karen, caught red-handed halfway through my window like some kind of burglar, screaming that she had authority. Authority? She had no such thing. The only authority she was about to face was from the sheriff, because, as it happened, our alarm system was linked directly to local law enforcement, and right on cue, 2 patrol cars rolled up with sirens flashing. Karen was still trying to explain herself, but the officers didn't buy a word of it. They ordered her down, handcuffed her right there in front of the entire neighborhood, and hauled her off the property while she was still yelling about HOA rules. The crowd that had gathered just shook their heads, some even laughing, because everyone had been sick of her nonsense for years. Later, the officers asked me if I wanted to press charges. Honestly, I didn't hesitate. This wasn't just trespassing, it was breaking and entering. My daughter had been scared out of her mind, and Karen had crossed a line you simply don't come back from. I filed the report, and the HOA board was forced to hold an emergency meeting without their president. Word spread quickly, and suddenly Karen, the woman who used to bark orders at everyone, was facing criminal charges for burglary. Neighbors who once feared her were now openly mocking her. People who had been fined, harassed, and bullied by her finally felt justice was being served. The HOA tried to distance themselves, calling her actions unauthorized and not reflective of the board. But that didn't save them from the lawsuits that followed. See, my lawyer explained that since Karen acted as the president of the HOA, the organization itself could also be held responsible. And you better believe I went after them. The best part, the footage, because remember, half the street was recording her trying to crawl through my window like some cartoon villain. That video ended up spreading online, embarrassing the HOA beyond repair. By the time the dust settled, Karen was stripped of her position, facing criminal charges, and the HOA itself had to pay out a hefty settlement. As for me and my family, we upgraded our security, installed cameras on every corner, and kept living our lives without Karen's constant harassment. But the real win wasn't just the money or the legal victory. It was seeing my daughter smile again, knowing she had been the one to trigger the alarm that stopped Karen in her tracks. She felt proud, like a hero who protected our home. And in a way, she really was. Karen wanted to break into our lives, but instead, she exposed herself as the criminal she truly was. And thanks to one quick-thinking kid and a blaring alarm, the entire neighborhood was finally free from her grip. So next time you hear about an HOA Karen pushing her luck, remember this story. Sometimes, the people they underestimate, like a kid hitting the alarm button, are the ones who bring them down.